So my mind has already been blown. Wanakimbia mbio, wameka ngoma. Mero shindo sanuzi usikizaje ngoma juu like
upepo ba.
Juu the time nduthi unasikia ngoma inacheza, so akipita ndo unasikia ngoma sasa ina nini?
Wanaacha ngoma
nyuma.
So uko nyumbani pale and you want to buy a vehicle, umechoka na Futsubishi. Unataka tu kuenda sasa saizi unataka ubuy miguu 4. But you don't know how to go about it. You'll find that information nowhere else than on the Crimeshield Podcast, where we deep dive into security matters where it touches you mostly. It's a day-to-day thing, and today's topic is none other than, in understanding the car environment. What are you supposed to do before you purchase a car? How are you going to be able to identify who is a good car dealer, who is not a good car dealer, the pros and cons of owning a car, etc., you name it. Welcome back to the Crimeshield Podcast, and I'm Kingsley, your host, and today, to help us through this process, is none other than Khalif Kairo. Karibu sana. Fiti sana. Kupoa.
Niko fiti kabisa.
Thanks so much for, creating time na kukuja. Hii ni banta tu tunapiga story.
Okay.
Haina mambo mingi because we want people to understand. Watu wamegongwa magari.
Yeah, no, I see it every other week.
Mtu anagongwa gari, anataka kununua gari, umesave, unasema this is going to be my first car.
Yes.
Alafu unakuta mtu amekugonga.
Yeah.
And most of the things, labda kabla tu tuingie kwa hii story, acha nikupigie story ya best yangu mwingine. Kuna best yangu anaitwa Bazu, nimemuongea sana TikTok.
Yeah.
Bazu ni msema swara, yaani maswara zinamfuatanga tu throughout. Tulienda na Yesu kumoja kufanya navigation, akatupoteza bana kwa kichaka. So this time round akataka abai gari. Naambia Bazu bana, hao watu wenye unaenda kubai nao wako na website, hata wako na ofisi, na hiyo tu ni the top of all the basics.
Yeah.
Bazu bana akasema, Kings bana, mimi nimechukua loan, mimi ndo najua vile kutumia pesa yangu, wewe utaniambia. Akagongwa. Yeah. So I think hata utasaidia Bazu wherever you are, utaelewa leo how to go about it. So labda Khalif, you can tell us about yourself a little bit, and then utuambie the basics of before getting a vehicle. Mtu inafaa afanye nini?
Okay. So my name is Khalif Kairo. I run a company called Kai and Karo.
Yes.
So tunafanya operations. We have operations in Japan and Kenya.
Amazing.
Mostly we export cars from Japan. Tuna import tukileta Kenya. We are currently expanding to Uganda.
Amazing.
Na speciality yetu ni kitambo I used to be known for luxury cars, but sikuizi nimediversify. So we sell, sikuizi tunauza gari zote. Ukiingia kwa website yetu kaiandkaro.com, utapata gari za 100k. Kuna hata gari 100k sahi.
Umesikia uko nje.
The cheapest car we have in stock is 100,000.
Wow.
Most expensive is 45 million.
Hiyo ni mall.
Hiyo ni mall. Ama block mzima apartment mzima.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what I'm known for. But we also have another business which we've also set up. We also selling aircraft on the side. You need to jetman.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Ponda kuona kando.
So utaka ndege yako. You can still talk to us. We'll offer consultancy, utaka stories how do I choose a plane nini. But generally a lot of my knowledge pia iko kwa magari, and a lot of I have a lot of experience selling cars. I've been doing this since 2014 November.
Wow.
So I'm almost marking next year ni 2024. So I'll be marking 10 years in the industry.
Imagine time ina fly.
Nilianzanga kuuza magari at 18.
When I grow up.
So nimekuwa nikipiga hii shughuli for quite a while.
That's amazing. That's amazing. You've talked about a very critical point, na tutaguzia huko mbele about aircraft. Mimi huambia wase wote hata wenye kwa show ya kwamba security ni kitu ambayo iko kila mahali.
Yes, definitely.
So hata wakati unaongea about security, si kitu ambayo ati paka uongea about guns, jeshi, polisi. Hata kwa wewe mwenyewe, because security starts with you, kuna vitu lazima uangalie.
Yes.
So in this case and point tunaangalia mse mwenye anataka kubai moti. Umse inafaa angalie nini?
Okay, first thing naambianga wasebi ukidecide wataka kubai gari, first thing jiulize unataka gari ya nini. It's a very interesting question.
The
why you buying this car? Because utapata like mimi I'm a businessman. So if I buy a car, ni lazima meet stature yangu, kwa society. I need to show up somewhere if I'm going for a big meeting.
Yes.
The car needs to complement who I am.
Exactly.
Mtu mwingine anaweza kuwa ni farmer anaishi Kinangop. Maybe your place hakuna gari. So huwezi mwambia tena ashike Makex. itashindwa kuingia huko. So you first need to understand unabai gari ya nini. Tena unaweza kuwa you've just gotten your first job, maybe salo si kubwa, so you're working on a budget. Now everybody starts from somewhere. Exactly. So again, you can't start on a very big car. You need to start with a vehicle that is going to save you on fuel, but inapata hiyo practicality, because the reason why a lot of people buy cars nambao inakuwa practicality. Utaki kupanda mat, unataka kukaa time yako kabla tu ufike hizi stories za kutisha watu kwa barabara. Of course you just need to have that practicality, that practical aspect. So once you answer that question, the next thing unafaa kujiuliza ni budget. How much are you willing to spend on this car? So we've decided, let's say I'm a first time buyer, nataka kubai gari ya kuendanga job. Nafanya job Upper Hill, naishi Zima. So you need something that can drive me
from Upper Hill to Zima.
From here to Zima. So how much money am I able to spend? Because there are two ways to buy a car. Unaweza shika gari na loan. You can just put down a down payment. So let's say motini 1 million, unaweza kelea down payment ya 1,200. Bank iko finance the rest. There's that model. Na kuna ile model ya you just save money, fikisha 1 million yako, come showroom, choose a car, pay, done. So lazima pia ujiulize what sort of model structure unataka kwenda nayo. And both of those structures have a disadvantage and an advantage. Yeah. So those are some of the things you have to look at. Reason for buying the car and the budget. Let's just kwanza tuanzie hapo. Hizo ndio the major
vitu za kuangalia. Tumeongelea about hiyo bank ati inakusaidia kufinance. Bazu tu bado huyu Bazu Maswara. Bazu ameamua siku moja. Amesema ati same story. Ameenda kwa msemo mwenye amesema online tu. Amesema anauza gari. Bazu amecheki gari. Juu gari yake, by the way, the only thing that used to function apart from any other thing ni boot yake. Boot ndio ingeza funguka, ifungike vizuri. Any other thing ilikuwa inasumbua. So akasema anataka gari na akasave. Amesave kama kaso 7. Akaangalia online pale kwa Facebook kidogo, akaona msee amemwambia niko na gari. Kwenda kulipa, kukutana na msee hata hakuwa anauliza maswali mingi. Mtu kama Bazu mwenye, long story short, aliambiwa apatiane cash. Cash, leta pesa, cash. Mtu kama huyo sasa mwenye anataka kubai gari, ni procedure gani for his own safety ya pesa yake atafanya in order to make sure kwamba amepata quality for his money?
So first things first, msaki kuambia kona gari. Mimi I typically recommend people to go to showrooms. And there are reasons why I tell people to go to showrooms, because like if you come to Kai and Karo, you're meeting you're dealing with professionals.
Yes.
You see every day we sell a car. Ideally every day we sell a car. So easy process, tumezoea kuhandle watu types mingi. So we understand what the client expects, and we understand different buyers have different ways of approaching issues.
Yes.
Client wa gari first time venye ata handle your purchase is very different from a person buying their 7th car. There are very many differences. Kuna mtu hata akuji showroom anakuambia tu ni aje. Naona mkono hiyo gari ya 40 million. Unaweza deliver place fulani, deliver. Nipatie account na anakuwekea do. Very casual. You have seen such their clients their clients have sold to very high-end cars and I've never met them face to face.
Wow.
They just give you a call, ni aje, I've seen that car. Mnasema iko Japan, so send the agreement nini, you do everything, they deposit the money, the car comes and it's delivered. Na mta imit no mse. There are people who buy cars like that. But not the first time buyer, I'd recommend you to go to the showroom.
Enda kwa showroom ujione.
Kwanza enda ground. Kama unataka kubai gari kwa showroom, enda identify, check. Ndo hii hapa, okay. The next thing you do before you commit, hata ikikubamba aje, call a mechanic. Tafuta best yako mwenye ako na muti. Let's say unataka kubai Subaru. Ulizia tu kwa circle za watu wa Subaru. Naweza pata wapi make mzuri wa Subaru. Mlipe hata 2,000. Mwambie akuje showroom afanye nini? Angalie gari akague muti. Or alternatively, kama ni showroom flexible kaa sisi, tunaweza organize gari itoke showroom iende kwa garage ifanywe checks.
Wow.
So iende kwa garage uangalie. Hiyo pre-purchase inspection ifanywe kwanza. Na mimi hupenda hivyo, ndio mimi sipendi kusumbuana na clients ati mlinuzia gari ilikuwa na issue. Mu prefer client. Juu unajua sisi at times we are selling on behalf.
Yes.
So it's very good for both of us, both parties, tukifanya nini? Once we take the car, tuipeleke garage, ichekiwe. So garage ikikwambia hii moti iko fiti, then now we can go to the next step.
Okay.
So the next step sasa ndio the documentation phase. So one thing you need to note is that a lot of showrooms don't own the cars they hold.
Okay.
The model, the way a model works, and this is the reason inakwanga hivyo. Sometimes it's because of tax reasons, number one.
Okay.
Number 2, it's because of generally the basic model. So kwa biashara ya magari kuna 2 tiers of business. You have the showrooms and you have the suppliers.
Okay.
So you might find kama Kai and Karo, we might have 500 cars in stock. We probably own 50 of them. 450 cars are owned by external suppliers.
Okay.
Some in Kenya, some in Japan. So now the thing you need to get next is to ensure that kama gari inauzwa na mtu mwingine, you at least need to have either the dealership needs to give you a copy of the ID, number 1, or they need to show you a document called the authority to sell.
Authority to sell.
Indicating that wamepewa hii gari wauze, and whoever has given them full authority to do what? To collect payments on their behalf.
Okay.
That's very important because now in the event that the vehicle is sold na kukwe na any sort of issue between the supplier and the showroom, you covered. Ukiwa na authority to sell. Because now it's not your liability. Hiyo sasa ni shida yao, you know. So once you've clarified that the authority to sell is in order, umeonyesha copy ya logbook. At times si lazima kuwe na the original logbook. Because at times the supplier might hold the original logbook. But if they can give you the copy of the logbook, the next thing you do is go and do a search. And you can do it on enda cyber. Waambie unataka kufanya search ya NTSA. Ama ingia kwa account yako ya Teams e-Citizen. Sema unataka kufanya search. You will pay 550 shillings if I'm not wrong. And it's going to give you a report of the ownership details of the car.
Kama ilipata accident, kama
no. Now the problem with Kenya, in some countries, it should give you that. Kama sasa UK, when we're buying these high-end cars in the UK, we normally get that sort of data from the Ministry of Transport in the UK, MOT. But now in Kenya, we don't have such a system. But still, NTSA has kuna kuangana ka option fulani ka written off. Kwa wanaonanga, I think wanaweza kuwa na data. Kama ni gari ilikuwa na accident nikafanywa write off, NTSA wanaweza jua.
Juu hapo kwa NTSA naonanga kwa portal kuna mali ya
written off.
Kama so unataka actually kupatia na logbook if you want to transfer.
Yes, kuna place mtu mark kama ni written off. So written off inamaanisha ni gari imekuwa na accident. So that one is something maybe you might want to buy. You might not want to buy unless you know what you're buying. Na umesha establish the extent of the accident. Juu unaweza pata gari unauzwa bei cheap na umeona hii accident ilipata, it's not major, ni tunaweza repair. But now for the first time buyer, keep off written off vehicles.
Umesikia first time buyers?
Keep off. Gari written off achana nayo. Those just leave them alone. So once you get the report from NTSA, inakwanga instant. Once umepata hiyo search, now you cross check the information on the search and information on the logbook. Sana chassis number, engine number, na the registration of the car, the number plate. So whatever is on so the search should not say gari ni chassis number, and it's good ni elaborate chassis number. Every car, every vehicle on earth has what we call a chassis number, which is like a serial number to that car.
A unique number.
This is not different from the number plate.
Okay.
So ukienda kwa like on the German cars, chassis number inakuanga kwa kioo hapa, kwenye kioo inaenda kushikana na body, unakuanga na section ya chassis number hapo. So kama ni like I drive a Porsche, the Porsches, the Audis, the Mercedes, their chassis numbers inaanzanga na W.
Yes.
So kama ni VW, WVW, kama ni BMW utapata times ni inakuwa WBA. So kuna kuanga na hiyo hierarchy ya chassis number.
Okay.
Depending on the country where the vehicle was manufactured. Kama ni gari za Japan, pia wako na chassis number yao. Utapata kama Prado inaanza na GDJ hivyo. Kuna kuanga na hiyo that chassis number. So the chassis number is the identity of the car. In fact, ukirun chassis number kama uko na ile machine ya Interpol, it can even tell you whether that car has ever been marked stolen anywhere on earth. Kuna kuanga na that database.
Interpol wanakuanga nayo.
Wanakuanga nayo.
Iko open source.
Hata even DCI have it. And I'll come to that tukiongelea story ya import. Because DCI normally runs that on all the cars.
Okay.
So unapatanga Interpol, so unapatanga the chassis number should not be different. If your vehicle's chassis number is different on the search and it's reading another chassis number on the logbook, run. Hapo there's no question. That is actually a criminal case. Chassis number ya logbook na chassis number ya search hazifai kudifferentiate na chassis number yenye iko pia kwa gari. Hiyo ni kitu pia inaweza kuletea a lot of trouble na DCI. If the chassis number on the vehicle is different from what is on the logbook, again that is a very big offense. Because now if by any chance if the cops find out that, they don't want to know. Because it can only mean that the chassis number of the vehicle was altered, which means that the vehicle was stolen.
There's been a series kitambo hapo hivyo nilikuwa naona ilikuwa covered at some point ati magari zinaibwa from Kenya zinaenda kwa border zinachangiwa zinakuja vitu kama hizo. So inaweza kuland into trouble.
It can land in a lot of trouble. A lot. It inaweza kuletea issues mingi sana. Unaweza pata maybe you're driving a Range Rover. was stolen in the UK or stolen somewhere in maybe in the UK, sana UK ndio magari huibiwa huko countries za majuu, maybe someone was killed.
Imagine.
Yeah,
someone was killed. Mzungu na uko nayo
so uko huku you were driving a stolen vehicle that a criminal an offense happened, hiyo gari ndifike huku, so already you're liable to handling stolen property.
Exactly.
So now you hapo sasa gava inaweza kulalia mbaya.
Inaitwa aiding and abetting a crime.
Yes. So unaona kujiavoid na story guys, you always cross check. So once all the details pan out, the next thing you're supposed to do is now do the sale agreement. So the showroom is supposed to give you, and the reason again I insist on a showroom is because a lot of showrooms have legal departments that come up with the agreements.
Yes.
So the way a showroom will do an agreement is a bit more better than what an individual will do it. The individual atenda kwa seba seminataka just a basic agreement, and it might not be very good, but now a showroom will kaa sisi agreement ya gari sell on behalf, we will indicate on the agreement that we don't own the car, we are selling it on behalf. In some cases we will also give you a warranty depending na ni gari umenunua aje, so once you do the sale agreement, it's signed, then now you do the payments.
Sasa hapo kwa payments tuokolee ubeste yangu Bazu huyo alioshwa.
So ideally in my opinion, don't pay cash. For your own safety, it's always good to, when buying a vehicle, use electronic means to process the payments.
Plausibility, you're able to trace it back.
Tunaweza sema I wired money from my account to your account. Now that is evidence.
Yeah.
Cash ni ngumu. Cash unaweza peleka cash mahali ukose kupewa receipt. Now how do we prove in a court of law that ulipeana do? But now you see a check, an RTGS from the bank, a Pesa link transfer, or even M-Pesa payments, that is evidence in a court of law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Sasa Bazu ameenda amebai hiyo gari yake. Kumbe gari ni paint tu ndo walipaint. Mileage mbaya. Na sina shida na mileage depending on how the thing is, but you find out that many people who want to sell vehicles, they'll do anything in order to sell.
Yes.
So how do you handle mambo ya mileage? Huyu Bazu ndio ajue mileage yake haiko doctored, ime meet threshold ya value yake.
So two things. For Kenyan vehicles, it's very difficult because Kenya does not have a standard.
Okay.
We don't have a standard. In some countries, cars have to go for inspection at certain intervals. Government inspection. Like you might find, maybe in the UK, they might say, at 80,000 kilometers, once a vehicle is bought, if the vehicle attains, or every single year, not even 80,000 kilometers, every single year, a vehicle has to go for government inspection to check on emissions. So now that means, if I buy the vehicle, let's say we walk into a showroom and buy a brand new Range Rover.
Yes.
And year one, we went for the government inspection. We logged our mileage as 20,000 kilometers.
Yes.
Year two, we logged our mileage as 40,000 kilometers. Year 5, by the time tuenda inspection ya year 5, tumekuwa tukilogizi mileage annually.
Yeah.
Na sio kwa gava pekee. Juu gari na maintainiwa maybe na dealership yenye waliniuzia gari, which is part of the Land Rover network.
Yes.
Every time the car goes for maintenance, data from the car is actually logged and uploaded to the Land Rover database.
Mabroka. Huku nje kuna mabroka wengi sana wa magari. Kila mtu ni broker. Mtu anataka kubroke gari because ameona. How do you tell a good broker or somebody who's genuinely a good car broker? How do you tell?
Well, I think it comes down to intuition, number one. You know, people have a way of ignoring the intuition.
Yeah.
But typically what I'd say about brokers is, you see, economy is very difficult.
Yeah.
So everybody's just trying to earn an extra coin.
Yeah.
Hata sisi we deal with brokers a lot, and I love them personally because they bring us a lot of business. But now shida inakujianga amongst these people who call themselves brokers, kuna wezi, kuna wakora.
Wamejificha hapo
ndani. Shida now sasa inakuanga, it's a very thin line. But some of the rules za kujua ni, if you're going to engage with a broker, just be sure mtu kama ni anakwambia gari anauza na si yake, does he have the approval to sell the car?
Okay.
Kumbuka venye nimekishow story ya, you remember I mentioned something about stories of authority to sell and how structured things are in a company. So you always try to look out for, because even companies are brokers generally. Because at times that assisi will sell cars on behalf of other people broker the deal, you know. But kunafaa kuwa in such a good structure that nobody's taking advantage of the other person.
Okay.
Na hakuna wizi. The only place where I feel brokers maybe wanaweza overstep is when maybe they give you the wrong information, or maybe where they, maybe they use dubious means. Maybe gari yenye kwa market inauzwa kama let's say 1 million, bro ataka kuzia 2.5. At times some get very wapata msana kwa like mashindo yenyewe. Unajua kama ni biashara, there are some, kuna zile two basic rules. There are some levels which you can't exploit a customer. Because now that the line between being in business and exploiting a customer can be very thin. But once you cross it, the customer is not going to be happy. So I typically advise guys, hata kama unapitia broker, make sure ni broker first of all either ko attached to a certain showroom. Kasi Kai and Karo utapata, there are brokers who work with us. So umse hata kama ameenda amekutoa huko Ingo huko Kakamega, he's going to bring you to a showroom. So hata kama mtafanya transaction courtesy of this guy, at no point is your money in his custody. Juu hapo ninakwanga shida mkubwa. Sasa ukikamali unapatia broker like 3 million na ujui ofisi yake iko wapi, si mtu unajua fiti. So unaona hapo kuna kwa na bit of a risk. Na get, but if it's in a very good situation where the broker tells you, look, I'm taking you to a certain showroom, you're going to meet Evo. It's very easy for your own safety. Just unajua the showroom has to, showrooms zinakuanga na operating procedures. So kutakuwa na hiyo protection for you.
Exactly.
So you just try to use a bit of common sense. Of course, don't give a broker your money. Something else, of course, just make sure he's aligned to a certain showroom. And this is information you can get. Unambazaniaje? Unakuanga wapi Nairobi? Na unauza magari, but where do you operate from? Kwambia mimi nakuanga Uwanjo sijui wapi. Kidogo.
Take off.
But msee kwambia niaje like, okay, mimi nakuanga showroom fulani, let's say nakuanga Kai and Karo, mu operate hapo. He might not be our employee, but if he's going to bring you to a safe environment where you can transact, tunakuanga tumeka allowance ya brokers on all the prices we do even on our website. So hata kama wewe ni broker ukileta client, there's always a commission for you. Iko sangi. There's always a commission for them. So they are not bad people. That's what I'm trying to put out. But when dealing with brokers, just ensure that una deal na mtu straight, na mtu mwenye mse unaweza jua ako best place fulani, na si mtu atakuosha do. Hata kuna wengine unapata bedhe wameadvance wako na ofisi. Now that's even a slightly safer person to deal with. Juu ako na address, unaget, ako na profile.
Kuna kitu kingine yenye labda unaweza tushedia light. So at what point should somebody insure the vehicle? Umeenda umeteremka coast ama nimekuja Kai and Karo, anataka kununua gari for the first time. Insurance ina cover paka wapi? Because what's huku nje wana complain insurance zingine haikavi chenye wamesema. So mtu akitaka insurance aangalie nini?
No, ideally if you buy in a car, do comprehensive insurance and include something called an excess protector. Kuna kitu tango excess protector. I've never understood what an excess protector means, surprisingly. But what I know is ukiweka excess protector kwa insurance cover yako, in the event of an accident, insurance itakwambia uchip in. I do understand there's a way, at times gari inaweza pata accident, repay kuje 1 million, insurance wakwambie you'll cover like 100k, we'll do 900. So kama kuna excess protector, the insurance cannot come back to you. Because I've lost how many cars have I lost to accidents? I've lost 2 cars, but I wasn't driving them. Miss the trash gari. But at times you'll give someone a car, anaenda na drive and then anapata accident. So the insurance has to come in. So unapatanga always, the moment you buy a car, hivi ukitoka tu showroom hivi, cancel your insurance. Tell the person selling you the car to cancel the insurance immediately.
Hiyo yao
sasa hiyo yao. Unajua unaweza come, like let's say I'm selling you my car. My car has insurance right now. It's valid until February next year. All premiums are paid for. But there's normally a temptation nikiuza hiyo gari, I won't cancel the insurance. So you can continue using my insurance. It's very dangerous. I'll explain the reason why. Because number one, in the event of an accident, the insurance will not pay you. The insurance does not know you.
Hawanijui.
Ni mimi ndio wanajua. So for you to process the claim, you have to come back to me. So ni mimi ndio ndaekewa do.
Na sasa hapo kama tuliachana ile nilibagain sana, so
ama maybe uko na deal na mtu mkora. Let's umefuata hizi procedures, jamaa mona client by then ni mjanja. So sasa mchezea rafu. Amekuzia gari. But umeenda umepata accident na insurance ni yake. Then sasa amekewa hiyo do.
We
Simona hapo kidogo
Noma.
kuna
Noma. Kuna kitu ingine sasa, na we've talked about mtu anataka kwenda kununua gari.
Yeah.
Nataka kuongea about sasa mtu mwenye anataka kukua kama wewe sasa, anataka kuuza magari.
Yeah.
Kuna story ingine niliambiwa niko na mabeste wawili na wapenda sana. Moja ndio huyo Bazuu wa Maswara, and then kuna mwingine anaitwa Red Flag Detector. Beste zangu sana. So Red Flag huwa anapenda kuchunguza vitu. So at some point unakuta mtu anataka kwenda kufanya test drive ya gari. Vile ameenda ndio ameenda sasa. As a dealer, what do you do? Security measures gani?
For dealers, for dealers, before you give you a test drive, ID, lazima submit. You also need to sign a waiver saying that you're responsible for the vehicle. And we can hold you liable for any damage that happens on the vehicle.
Okay.
Now, as a car dealership, as Kai and Karo, we also insured. All cars in our property are insured. All our stock is insured. It's insured against those bad test drives. It's insured against malicious damage within the dealership itself. Yeah, so we normally take those things to ascertain. Na pia kuna zile training tunafanya wasee kwa showroom. Tunaambia tu akairada. Basic security training. How to read people, how to observe clients. Unaona kama ni ID, take a photo of a person, post it on the group before mwende test drive. So at any given point we know who has the vehicle. Kama ni test drive ni it's all rende watu watano yezi kam showroom wanakam kubai pro box and then tunampatia demo ende naye test drive. It's always kama mko rende watu watano, one person goes for the test drive, wengine wanabaki showroom accompanied by the company driver because the dealership has a driver.
Amazing.
Yeah, so kuna hizo you have to take those measures. Yeah.
I want to go into something that you love and away from cars, watu hawajui pia wewe huwa unafanya mambo ya ndege.
Yes.
And taguzia kidogo about your flying and also the safety measures that watu inafaa waangalie, because I heard you say at some point ya kwamba you want to commercialize ikue rahisi watu wanaweza charter flights vitu kama hizo. Security measures gani ndio unaweza ambia msee mwenye anataka kucharter flight or somebody wants to basically just hitch a ride in the airport?
So it depends. First things first, you need to understand who's operating the aircraft.
Okay.
Yeah, like this is something a lot of people don't know, but there are two ways to fly an aeroplane. If you bought a jet today, there are two ways to operate that aircraft. You can operate as a private owner.
Okay.
Private owner means you own the aircraft, you operate it for private purposes. And you can operate the aircraft as a commercial aircraft. Now, this is where it gets interesting. The insurance will handle matters very, very differently depending on how you've chartered that aircraft.
Okay.
So, for instance, if you charter a private aircraft, that in itself is a crime.
Oh.
Yeah. You can't use a private aircraft for commercial operations. Chartering now, that's a commercial operation.
Okay.
So, first things first, in the event of an accident, insurance na kuruka. So some of these things have to be done in a very, very proper manner. No, just with aviation akunanga hizo stories za ukora ati like ati sasa okay, haikosangi but unapata like the regulator is very strict. The regulator now is KCA. So they take those things very strictly.
Okay.
It is so strict that even an aircraft that is on commercial operation cannot be operated by a pilot who, like for instance, in my case, I have a private license, which allows me to fly quite maybe a number of planes under 5,700 kgs.
Yes.
But I cannot operate a commercial aircraft.
Okay.
Hata ikuwe ni ndege najua kuruka na like naweza irusha vizuri. If it's kama kwa kitabu ya KCA nasema it's a commercial aircraft, I can't operate it. And I can't charge people too. So those are some of the things you need to look. And the reason they do that is because of the commercial operators are put at a higher level of accountability than private operators.
Because they're handling people.
Juu wana handle wase, maybe in some cases maybe unaweza pata regulations a private operator. The assumption is you fly in the aircraft for your own good. Ama una fly for your own. Sa kama mimi say if I had a plane, I'll just go to Wilson, start it up, niseme nakula lunch na nyuki, go land. So you see it's not commercial.
Yeah.
Si ndege imepiga skodi kaa 7 imeenda Wajia Monini, imerudi tena imeenda Kisumu. So commercial operators are held to very strict standards. Very, very, very strict standards compared to private operators.
Wow.
Yeah.
So nini, when it comes to even I've seen the safety checks nini vitu kama hizo.
Yes.
Either way kuna kuangana some the basics zenye watu inafaa waangalie in order to board a flight. So watu wanaenda holiday especially tunaongea hivi because tuko karibu na holiday, people will want to use vehicles, people will also want to use aeroplanes. So if we have a subject matter expert in that, so we ask those questions. So mtu atokangi kwa hii show yetu bila educate kitu ya security. Leo mimi nitaka nikufunze kitu inaitwa CPTED. CPTED.
CPTED. Interesting. Okay.
CPTED is so nitakupea maana yake and then you'll tell me how you can use CPTED wakati uko pale kwa yard yako and when you're pangering your office space.
Yes.
So CPTED basically in full is crime prevention through environmental design.
Yes.
Chenye watu wajui ya kwamba when you're doing everything that you do at home, kwa nini bedroom haiko penye sitting room iko?
Yes. Kuna kuangana I think ni architects wamestudy wamejua behavior za watu kama ni washroom it's supposed to be at a certain point. Pia kuna story kaza hygiene.
Hygiene vitu kama hizo. So hiyo tayari in its own ni crime prevention through environmental design.
Okay.
Jiulize ukienda kwa supermarket, any supermarket. Kwa nini mikate zinakuanga huko mwisho, sukari huko mwisho,
na maziwa huko kwa kona? You have to walk the entire place.
So hiyo ni CPTED kwa supermarket because wanajua mtu mwenye anataka kufanya any harm na daily paka mtu atataka kununua mkate, atataka unga, so anaiweka mbali.
Okay.
Hapa penye unaona kashia yako ndio penye kuna kitu inaitwa critical asset. Hapo ndio pesa ina exchange hands. Hapo utakokea tu sweetie. Tu vitu nyesi lazima ubai.
So ku minimize the traffic yenye inaingia kwa super.
Kwa critical assets.
Sasa ile yenye hawezi kamkate karibu na cashier. Inamaanisha kuna so much traffic. So a lot of things might happen.
So wana mitigate your risk
interesting. Theft. So you ukienda hata ukienda wapi all over the world it's the same.
So hiyo ni CPTED. So CPTED utaifanyaje sasa wakati umerudi pale
kwa showroom? Range Rover kwa kona.
Sasa kuna day Khalif, nimekaa pale Westlands 2. Kuna place, kuna gym hapo hivyo karibu na kuna church kwa hapo, forgotten the street. But ukienda huko hivyo on Sundays, naonanga bana bikers. Mwingine, yani ukisikia sauti, uoni mwenye ana ride. Mimi nataka tuongelee, kuna instances zingine zenye mimi ukaa paka nashtuka nasema, bana, umse yeye ndio body. Umse ndio si kama gari ati imekushield huko kando. Ingine nikaona some clip hapo hivyo. Kuna rider tu wa ndudhi anabeba mandizi huko nyuma. Na tairi ya nyuma ina wobble, ina shake hapo hivyo. Mimi nataka tuongelesha wase wa ndudhi like on the safety. You are bike as well. So tuambie msee kama anataka ku hit the road na bike afanye nini?
No, I think bike inataka a lot of discipline. A lot. Like myself, I'm a biker. I ride but I even don't go to the streets. I just ride on the track. So jaka sana. Okay, I've been riding bikes since I was nikiwa 12 years old.
Any experience ba?
Nilijifunza kuendesha bike nikiwa 12 years old. So nilikuanga biker and then I stopped. Because bikes are dangerous. I've had hata nikiwa mtoi kabla nikiwa class 7 class 8 I had a couple of falls. Na ni ile bike ya sigara, msana deliver sigara unamuomba. Piga love kidogo unaanguka inakulalia kwa mguu inakuchoma trouser. Unajua kitu. So bikes, what I tell guys is just observe the rules. Tumia common sense. Mimi sitaambia mtu asitese but just use a bit of common sense. What kills you with bikes is bad judgment. Na kosa kutumia common sense. If you have to ride, get gear. Gear is very important. Like I had a fall the day before yesterday. And what saved my hand from getting broken was the fact that I had gear. Nilikuwa nimevaa like gear. If I show you how my kneecaps look, it's just insane.
Wow.
But the only injury I got was a slight, almost a slight dislocation on the hand, which ilienda tu OC karudishwa, and that was it. But I'm still nursing the injuries on this hand and on this hand. But now what saved me was the fact that I had gloves. So if I didn't have gloves, we'd be talking about sakukatwa nini,
operation tena.
So sijui sura yako inakaa aje.
Hapo kwa
kwanza sura bana wawezi hata smilia
kuna bro wangu mwingine anaitwa Brian na kuna kikundi ya mabikers watakuja hapa tena at some point and to dig deep kwa mambo ya bikes. But there's one thing I see, especially hata wase wanapanda hizi hailing apps za bikes. Si waonangi kama wamevaa helmet bana.
I know it's very dangerous.
Hawavai helmet.
I can tell you for a fact that it's very dangerous to ride a bike. In fact, if you go to other countries, even within the region, kama Rwanda, it's a big offense. Hata Uganda I was in Uganda last week and a lot of bikers and their packs have helmets on. In Rwanda, all of them, 100%. No question asked. Lazima mvae helmet.
So kabla ubai bike, ununua helmet.
Kwanza, first of all, go for training. Kama mimi much as najua kuendesha bike, when I bought my bike and my son was really interested in bikes, we had to go back to school. So we are learning how to ride. Not that I don't know how to ride the bike. Naendesha pikipiki, but it's good kuweka kierere kando. Sasa unaenda, you're going to a more powerful machine. You go to the experts. You tell the expert, look, train me how to ride this bike. And so he will train you. Sasa kama mimi Sato tunamkianga track. Alafu weekend unasikia Sunday morning unasikia instructor ananiambia niaje. Kesho ndaka mna street bike yangu nikupeleke kwa street ulan. So si ati ile like ati mnaenda kuresa akufunze. So unaelewa the basics. Now once you have the basics and you understand the limits, na uko na the gear, na uko na the equipment, and then the confidence is building, now you can do all those crazy things. But again atu kufanyia atu kenda kwa barabara, you're doing those fast drives, just exercise good judgment.
Paka uko able kujudge your distance.
Exercise good judgment. You know, bike inaonanga it's a lot like flying, because even aeroplanes are very dangerous. Na ndege tuwasemanga first things ni safety. Are you safe enough? Do you have the enough training?
Yes.
Do you follow your rules? Hapo kuna showmanship.
Naonanga mwa Kenya kila mahali.
Unatembea na checklist. It doesn't matter how experienced you are. But it's always advisable if you're going for a flight, have your checklist. So checklist inasema tukiingia kwa ndege, we first switch on the fuel. So unakuanga na hiyo flow. It makes you a very good pilot.
So mse wanduthi pia kila asubuhi akiamka checklist.
Okay, unajua nduthi si complex, but checklist ya nduthi ni very simple. Some of the things watu nduthi hufanya ni they're very silly to say the least. If you come into a junction, common sense, slow down
kabisa.
Check left, check right, check left again, ingia. If traffic is stopping, unaona traffic imesimama, mlikuwa mna move but magari zimeanza kusimama. Wewe unataka kupitia katikati. You don't know what has happened in front. So unapata vitu zingine tu ni common sense, but ukiexercise hizo checklist kwa brain yako, that every time nime notice magari zime overtake, I have to slow down. Every time nime notice that I'm on a road, don't overtake on the blind side. A lot of drivers don't check the left side.
You need to overlap.
So unaona I expect to go hapo. So just exercise those basic road safety measures. Zina sound basic but ndo zinauanga watu. Check zile accident mingi utaona za Swanduthi. Hata mimi zile time nimekuwa karibu gonga wa Swanduthi ni that una drive unaenda kuingia mahali unaona msee ako hapo. Ameenda ametoka nje ya barabara. So uko like umse like ametokea wapi ama unapata maybe umeingia kwa junction vizuri, jamaa Nduthi anakamkaa amepita. So basics. Sasa hiyo jamaa unapata ni vijana Sunday kwanza. Ka box ama ka TVS imeko rastakala wamebeba na wase wanne na like wanakimbia mbio wameka ngoma. Mero shindo Nduthi usikizaje ngoma juu like
upepo ba
juu the time Nduthi unasikia ngoma inacheza, so akipita unasikia ngoma sasa ina nini wanaacha ngoma nyuma. Even onangi kiwa ridiculous but so unaona tu hizo basics na bedhi uta notice kuna bikers na kuna Nduthi. Kuna difference ya bikers na kuna Nduthi. A lot of bikers utapata ni kidogo ni wase msaendesha Nduthi ya 1 million bike ya mita moja hizi ma super bike. I mean that's a very expensive machine. Invest. So kidogo unapatanga they have common sense. Pata kidogo hata kwa street kuna traffic amechill. Amevaa ile helmet yao kubwa na kagopro hapo.
Anajua cha anafanya.
Anajua cha anafanya. Ana story ametulia tu. One exercising. A lot of them are very sane people. Waso Nduthi. Bro bana, mtu amekona kanini ka glove.
Amefunga kiara fativo. Inapepea huko nyuma.
Bana, amevaa ma jacket. Alafu Nduthi ni kadogo. So okay, I'm not making fun of them. I'm just saying that watu wa Nduthi wanafaa kuimprove on their safety mechanisms.
And itawafikia whatever you're telling them actually. Inafikia hiyo safety ni muhimu because watu wa Nduthi wako na familia wengine. So fikiria familia yako. Wewe umeenda kwa bike haujavaa helmet, unajua unabeba watu na hizi hailing applications, hauna hata helmet ya huyo mteja wako. Hizo ndio vitu inafaa uangalie. Indicating me hata umeona msewandudi akindicate.
Hata in fact I've never seen.
Indicating ni kasha.
Ni kuingia tu.
Sawa. Thanks for that. You've sacrificed your time. Before you leave, kutakuwa na segment ya quick fire.
Yeah.
Shelmy will ask you a little bit of something and then utapatia watu tips on stuff. So thank you, and for you out there, we are at Wojo. Wojo is a shared office facility where we always give you quality. Kama uko na biashara yako, kama uko na meeting, come leverage this place. Located in Upper Hill, 10th floor at Mercure Hotel. So you're welcome. As always, Team Crimeshield, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. We always impact you positively through security. So come one, come all, tell a friend to tell a friend, and as usual, keep it Crimeshield. See you next time.